Hey all, we just saw a line art which was done with pen and it had few leaves and two flowers. Now there are many artworks that can be done just with the help of lines and everything. So today I'm going to just show you all in a very easy way that how we can get the lines the way it is supposed to present, and also make sure that all the curves and strokes and everything come the way it is actually meant to be, right? So let's switch to the paper and see how we can get the effect of what exactly we are looking for. So here is a blank paper where I have already done the borders and I will be now just making a very easy and simple drawing of a flower and a leaf. May not be exactly what we saw in the image before. So what we're going to do is I'm using a 4B pencil. You can use any pencil, you can use pen also. So what I'm going to do is I will begin with just drawing in a very light way, in however the leaf shape is what we want. So I'm just going to draw some leaves here and let's make a flower here. Let the leaves cover the flower because when the petals are covered, it looks very interesting because how the lines will travel from between the petals, right? That makes it look very realistic and gives the effect that we are looking for. So here, as you can see, I have made some flowers, and let me add few more leaves over here. Maybe this time we go a little small. And how about if we add another flower in this place? And we can see if most of the petals are visible. Freehand drawing is always suggested and it is always very helpful because it's the freehand drawings which gives the proper curves and everything, and it also gives you a more firm grip over your pencil or pen with whichever medium we are working. In fact, even while I am painting, most of the times, if you all have been following my video, you all would have seen that I generally don't draw just before painting. I just leave it to I just prefer directly start painting and then just go on adding shapes and forms and give the look that it deserves, right? So here the drawing is completed. Now let's see how we can add lines and strokes to it. So I'm going to continue using 4B pencil. I'm using this pencil, which is the Camlin 4B pencil. Okay, it's a graphite pencil. So now the other thing that to remember in this is that it's not that you have to start from one particular place. In these kind of drawings you can start from anywhere, but the other thing that I always suggest is keep a rough paper always handy. The reason I say rough paper because it's a pencil work. This will not mess your paper, rather it will keep your paper clean. So I'm going to begin from here, from the top. So I'm keeping my rough paper so that I can rest my hand on it. Okay. Another important thing is that when you're doing line work, try not to hold your pencil so close. Try to hold it here so that you get a proper grip of your pencil. And it helps you in free movement. Your wrist gets a proper free movement. And do not hold it so tight. Hold it a little bit loose. Okay, so let's see. So now, as you can see, this is going in this way and it's a fold over here. So I'm going to start making my lines from here. As you can see, I'm trying to maintain the shape. Let me take it a little closer. I'm trying to maintain the shape of the petal, because if our lines go a little bit here and there, then the shape of the petal will not be what exactly we want. And shape of the petal, my friends, it really matters a lot, because then only we get the desired look of the petal, that where it is turning, where it's curving, where it's folding. Closer you take the lines, it will give you a darker look. If the lines are far enough, it will give you a look of light effect over there. Now, as you can see, I am trying to create a dark effect in the center, so all my lines are coming and meeting in the center, right? And as I'm going up, I'm making sure that they are turning. They have to turn, because then only the petals effect and look comes out. Right? Okay, now let's move to the next petal. The next petal also, we have to make sure, as I said before also, we have to make sure that we maintain the direction in which you want the petals to appear as if they are folding or they are curving from there. See, these curves, the light and dark, everything will depend on how the natural object which you are looking at, which in this case is the flower petal, is appearing in front of you. I'm just going to turn my paper a little bit, as it makes it a little easy for us, because obviously we cannot turn our hand like this, correct? So we can always turn our notebook and our paper. Well, that's one benefit which I have always mentioned for our when we are making our sketches in the notebooks. I'm also overlapping in some places to create that depth in that particular part. Now here, if you see, we have the leaf over here, so that means the petal is going way it's somewhere underneath the leaf, because the leaf is overlapping. So obviously, since this is not the end of the petal, so here it will have a straight effect and then it will curve in this place. This is how we will go about the entire flower as well as the leaf. So now let's move to the next petal. So the flowers are done. Now let's see how we are going to work on the leaves, right? So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a very thin and a very light line in the center of the leaf. Okay? And now the way I want the leaf to be turning, my lines of the leaf will be going like that. Sorry, I had forgotten the rough paper because I've already done these flowers. I don't want the petals to get messed up. Now, here you go. The key over here is to keep your hand steady. If you notice, I am not moving my wrist at all. I'm just moving the fingers, right? Just this is the movement. So it's going the way I want it to move. And I'm holding the pencil in a very comfortable and a very loose grip. I'm not holding it here. I'm not holding it here. It's here and it's a loose grip. That is the key. Okay, as you can see, because if the grip is loose, you can turn your pencil, you can move your pencil, pen, whichever medium you are using, in the direction you want. See, one side of the leaf is done. Let's come to the other side. Make sure that it comes and meets the center line that you had drawn. Try not to lift your pencil while you're making one line, but when you're starting the new line, that's the only time you're lifting your pencil. These are some key tips which one should definitely keep in mind. Because lines can be tricky. Too much of closeness, too much of overlapping can create a very awkward looking line directions, can make it very different, and it may not look the way it should actually look. So well, here's your first leaf. Now let's see this one. Here I am going a little curved lines, more curvy than what I did in the first leaf. And also, if you notice, the space or the gap between the lines are more than this particular leaf. As I said, that creates the density, the depth, the closeness, and the distance between the lines. As I said, I always enjoy working on the notebooks because it's very easy to, turn the pages, turn the notebook. Now, if you remember, I made a very thin and a very light center line. Now, as you're working with your pencil, you would see that, and as we are working every time from this particular point, you will see that it is every time going from one point and coming out at the other point. It is automatically creating the center line on its own. There. Now you can see the two leaves. Right? Now let's move to the next leaf. So now we've got the lines and everything. Now, if need be, we will make the outline. Otherwise, what we can do is we can just fill in the gaps with a little bit of shading effect. Okay? And I'll show you that how. You can see there's a gap, so we will create a little shading here. This will make a depth over here and like a shadow between the petals and the leaves. Make sure your shading is not like lines. That is extremely important. Yeah, I know I often say these things, that these are extremely important and this and that. The reason being, these are important. There are a few things which definitely needs work when we are shading, adding light and darkness, because that is what ultimately gives us the final look of our artwork. I'm going to add a little bit of shade over here. If you notice carefully, I'm not pressing my pencil against the paper. I'm just going layer on top of layer. Because if you press, it creates a depth over there. Alright, now let's go ahead and connect them with the branches. Alright, and just a slight shade in the branches, just a very light. Because here, branches are like the complementary object or the supporting actor, actresses in the pictures, in the movie. So here, in our picture, it is the branches. So just a light shade will be doing the job. Okay, and here we go. And last, I always like to finish it with my signature. Here we have a wonderful work of line art. Today we saw how to work with pencil. The same way we can work with pen, with paint. There are a few videos in my YouTube channel where you can see we have few works which are done with paint, exactly the line art, and also with pen also I have done a lot of them. So do go through the channel. You will find many of those beautiful sketches and work which may inspire you, which may be of help, and you may try those. And once you try, if it's really helpful, please do share your comments and your feedback. Thank you so much.